Hello everyone, today we're going to be continuing our math contest series, and today's topic we're going to be going over abundant/deficient numbers and also number lines as well. So let's get started, and also this will also be for the difficulty levels for grade 7 and also grade 8 as well. So let's get started with our first problem. So abundant numbers. So here's our question. So the positive divisors of 12 other than itself are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Their sum, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6, is greater than 12. An abundant number is a number for which the sum of its positive divisors other than itself is greater than the number itself. This means that 12 is an abundant number. So which of the following is also an abundant number? So our answers here is 8, 10, 14, 18, and 22. So before we start solving this problem, let's first understand what this problem is trying to ask us. So here the question is asking which of the following is also an abundant number. So we need to look at all of these and we need to figure out which one is an abundant number. And basically what an abundant number is all of this 3 lines of writing here, it all explains what an abundant number is. So an abundant number is a number for which the sum of its positive divisors other than itself is greater than the number itself. And the question that we were given was that the 12, the number 12. So the divisors of 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And once you add all those numbers up, then we get greater than 12. So that is an abundant number. So based on that information, we also need to do the same thing for all of these numbers here, and we need to find out which one is an abundant number as well. So let's get started with solving all these to find out the abundant number. So let's first start off with 8, because that's our first question. So what we first need to do is we need to find the factors of all the factors of 8. And to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to do this factorization method, which is basically just dividing it over and over again to find out all the possible answers. So right now we have 8, and what we need to do first is we need to look at the lowest factor that can multiply into 8. So we're first going to skip 1 because that's going to get 8 itself again. So greater than 1 is 2, and since 8 is divisible by 2, we're going to start with 2. So we're going to do 8 divided by 2, which gives us 4. So then we make another factorization column there, and then 4, what is 4 divisible by? It's also divisible by 2 as well. So we're just going to write 2 again, and 4 divided by 2, we get 2. And then once again we can do 2 again, so we're just going to write 2 and then we get 1. So these are all the factors of 8. So let's just write them all down over here. So we get 1, 2, we just get 1 and 2 here. So for right now we only get 1 and 2. And this is because we can see that we got 1 and 2, so we can't repeat the same one over and over again. So since we got 1 and 2, this is all we have right now. But we know that these are not the only numbers that can be factorized into 8. So there's also 4 and so how do we do this? We first need to multiply these factors together, and we can also get more factors from there. So we already have 1 and we already have 2. So what we can do next is we can multiply 2 by 2, which gives us 4. So 4 is another factor of 8 because we can also do 8 divided by 4. And then if we do 2 times 2 again, that's also 4. And then if this column's done, if we go to this column, 2 times 2 is also 4. So these are the only possible answers for factorization of 8. So now if we add all these together, 4 plus 2 plus 1, if we do 4 plus 2, we get 6 plus 1, 7. So 7 is the number for this, and this is not an abundant number because it's not greater than 8 itself. So we know that 8 is not the abundant number. So now let's move on to 10 now. So then for 10, what we're going to do is we're going to start off the same as what we did with the 8. We're going to start off with 10 and write the factorization method. And let's start with the lowest, and we know that it's 2. So let's start with 2, so 10 divided by 2 equals to 5. And then so now we can't do 2 again because 5 is not divisible by 2. So if we can't do 2, we can do 3 as well, we can't do 4. So the only option we have here is to do 5. So if we do by 5, then we get 1. So the factors of 10 is 1, 2, and 5. So here's all the factors of 10. And if we try multiplying these together, it won't work because 2 times 5 is 10. And since it already shows here that other than itself, we're not able to put 10 there. So we know that these are the only possible answers for the factors of 10. And if we add these together, so 5 plus 2 plus 1, we get 8, which also means that 10 is also wrong because it does not equal to more than 10. So now let's try the third one, which is 14. So for 14, we're going to start off the same as everything else. We're going to write 14, and let's put our factorization. So we're going to start with 2 again because 14 is divisible by 2, and then we get 7, and then 2 doesn't work, 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, so that means the only possible answer here is 7, that will work, and then we're left with 1. So let's just write these down quickly. So 1, 2, and 7, so these are our answers here. And if we try multiplying 2 by 7, then we get 14, which we can't use. So it's pretty clear that these are our only possible factors for 14. And if we add them together, 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1, 10, it's only 10. So 14 doesn't work, 10 doesn't work, and 8 doesn't work. So we know that these 3 doesn't work, so we only have these 2 left. So let's try out 18 now. So for 18, we're going to start off the same. 2, 18 divided by 2, we get 9. From 9, then we got to do it again. So we can't do 2, so we can do 3 because 9 divided by 3. So if we do 3, then we're left with 3 again. And if we do it one more time, so then we can also do 3 again, which is left with 1. So right now, we have the factors of 1, 2, and 3 for 18. So here we're also able to multiply these together to get more answers because those are not the only factors of 18. So what we're going to first do is we're going to do 2 times 3, which is given 6. And then if we do 2 times 2 again, that's the same thing, so we can't do that. So then this column here is done. So the next we're going to start off with this column here. So if we do 3 times 3, we're given 9. So then that here is done as well, and then 3, and it's the same thing over again. So here's all the factors of 18. We got 1, 2, 3, 6, and 9. And if we add these together, so 9 plus 1, that is 10, 10 plus 6, 16, 19, 20, 21. So we get 21 as the answer for 18. So we see that 18 is an abundant number, so this could be a possible answer. So all we need to do is check out for 22, and if it is not an abundant number, then we know that 18 will be our answer. So as of right now, 8 doesn't work, 10 doesn't work, 14 doesn't work, and 18 does work. So let's just quickly look up for 22, and then we'll see if that's an abundant number as well. So for 22, let's start off the same, 22. Okay, let's start with 2. Then we get 11, and then we can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all the way to 11. So we just do 11 and 1. So for 22, we have 1, 2, and 11. And if you add those together, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we only get 14 for 22, which means that 22 is not the right answer, and only 18 is the right answer here. So this is the answer for the first question. And now we're going to be moving on to our second question for the day. So our second questions will be about number lines, and here's the question. So tick marks are equally spaced along a number line with the numbers P, Q, R, S, T, and U labeled as shown. Here's how it looks like. And which of the following best represents the value of R divided by the value of U? So let's look at our answers here. We have 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1.25, and 1.50. So let's first try to solve this problem here. So what we first need to do is we need to look at the question, what it's asking us. So it's asking us which of the following best represents the value of R, divided by the value of U. So we need to find out first the value of R, and we need to find out the value of U, and then we have to divide them. So what we first need to do is we got to look at this picture here as shown. And here we see that the only information that we're given is s is equal to 1. So if s is equal to 1, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 here. There's 4 spaces between 1 and 0. So that means we know that each one of these will equal to 0.25. So what we can do is that we can do p is equal to 0.25. This will also be this will be an increase of 0.25 again. This will also be an increase of 0.25. And if we keep adding them, then we get here is 0.25, there is 0.50. This one would be 0.75, and then this one here would be 1 already. So then after here, we'll know that this one will equal to 1.25, and we know that this one here is going to equal to 1.50. So now we know that we need to do this. We need to do r divided by the value of u. So let's fill in this. So let's fill in this formula here. So we need to do r, which is, we know it's 0.75 divided by the value of u, which is 1.50. So what we first need to do is we need to take out the decimal points here so we can divide it easier. So if we take out the decimal point here, take out the decimal point here, we know that we're taking out 2 decimal points in both of them. So now we're left with 75 divided by 100. So this is what we have right now. And to divide this, what we're going to do is we're going to simplify it so it's easier for us to do. So 75 is all, we can also write it as 25 times 3. And it's not 100 here, I meant to write 150 here. So then 150, we can also write that as 50. Yeah, so we can also write this as 50 times 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify this. So since we have times 3 times 3, we can cancel those out. So we're left with 25 divided by 50. And then we can simplify this again as 5 times 5 divided by 5 times 10. And then we can just cross out 5, 5. So then we're left with, over here, we are left with 5 divided by 10, which is also 1 divided by 2. And 1 divided by 2 is 0.50. So here we can see that the answer is B here. And we got 0.50, and this is how we solved it. So that's the answer for this number line. And now we're going to be going over a second method as well as how we could have done this, which is also way easier, and we wouldn't need any calculations like what we just did. That way it's really long, and if you have a short amount of time, then it would take a lot of time to do that. So another quicker method to do this is that we're just going to number all of these. So we know that this one's 0, then we know that this one's going to be 1, this one's going to be 2, this one's going to be 3, this one's going to be 4, this one's going to be 5, and this one's going to be 6. So based on this, we're asked to divide the value of r by u. So we can see here, if we just draw a line here, from r to u, they have 3 spaces, and we know that we have 3 divided by 6, which is also 1 divided by 2, which is also equal to 0.50. So either way, this would also get the answer 0.50, and it's just a quicker method, and this would help a lot as well. The other way was just more complicated. And that's it for this video. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.